We are back. Dr. Debinga, I read an article today that said Elon Musk may be overstaying his welcome at Mar-a-Lago and that he's thinking he's co-president. Well, sometimes when you write the big check, you think you have all the power. And apparently, we
Mm,
know, not apparently, but we know he wrote some pretty big checks for Donald Trump. So is that billionaire saying to Trump, look, dude, we're in this together?
yeah,
What
yeah.
happens
Look,
when the bromance ends?
I'm gonna be here with my popcorn to see it. I mean, this is a guy who's basically the Henry Ford of our time in terms of inventor and also got a lot of racism and all of this stuff in his heart and his mind. I think that Trump can't stand, as we all know, having anyone else get more attention than him. And as the media puts more spotlight on him, I absolutely feel like it's going to disintegrate. And Elon Musk is trying to get as much as possible, as quickly as possible before it does erupt, period, bottom line. And the fact that he's on these calls with Putin and he was having calls with Putin beforehand, one of the things that have really bothered me about this whole process with Elon Musk and all of these guys, it has shown me that how at the top level, so many of these laws just don't exist. Like, what about the Logan Act, that said you're not supposed to be having conversations with a foreign power if you're not in office? Trump was doing that the whole time. Elon Musk has been doing that the whole time. No charges, no penalties. And now they're just doing this, out in the open right now. Elon Musk, who worked in this country illegally, people have no conversations about that, right? Is working to against quote unquote illegal immigration and is working to destroy this country. I don't think they're going to last long, and it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. Look, the Republicans got the House again, but they didn't do a damn thing with it last time. So, because these guys have so much infighting, but there are more Trumpers in there. But I still think these personalities, John Thune winning over Scott, to lead the Senate, there's going to be some personality clashes, which means a lot's just going to not get done. I don't see those two lasting pretty long together.
Well, we know Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, they've been charged with eliminating waste and fraud in the federal government. We've seen that, playbook before where someone's going to come in and cut, I don't know, 1/3 of the federal budget by just getting rid of inefficiencies and waste. And we know what that really means is you're going to cut those departments that provide a safety net for so many Americans, again, rural Americans, Americans in urban areas.
Right.
So again, people voting for someone like Elon Musk, who has a horrible track record with his own employees being in charge of quote unquote finding efficiencies in the government. And you also have unions who are going to be severely impacted by this. But we saw predominantly white union members breaking with sometimes their leadership to vote for Donald Trump. And we know Donald Trump is going to deregulate everything. And he's going to make it harder for unions to even unionize, so to have members join a union. So union members are going to suffer, as they should, because they voted for him. So it's really hard to have any empathy for the groups. They're folks, I hate to say this, they're going to be folks like me and you and those of a lot of my listeners, I think the majority of them, who will do okay. We're not going to have to move to another country because Donald Trump is president. We're going to suffer. But there are people who literally, their jobs are on the line. Their housing is on the line. Their safety. Talk about the Justice Department. Dr. Debinga, I was blue in the face on my 7-state battleground tour to African Americans and Latinos about the importance of the Justice Department. And I said, you cannot be out there voting. Not voting, but marching with Black Lives Matter, not understand the importance of a Kristen Clark and a Justice Department under a Democratic president. When you are voting for a Republican president, you are voting to give police pretty much the same kind of immunity that Donald Trump has to shoot and to use violence in our communities without accountability or any repercussions. We are turning back over to rogue police officers. And sometimes it's not as direct as that, but it is the chilling effect. And, that's something we talk a whole lot about in law. The law may not apply to you, but because you don't know if it applies to you and you don't want to necessarily find out, you may not engage in certain behavior. So a lot of corporations may not be impacted by Donald Trump evisceration of DEI at the federal level, but they may be sitting around a boardroom and saying, well, Donald Trump is getting rid of DEI at the federal government level. We might as well get rid of it here because we don't want to be on the wrong side of Donald Trump. So there are chilling effects with policies that are going to be as potent and as powerful as Donald Trump saying to that corporation, you have to do away with DEI. And I think people, again, not paying attention to that. One of these last appointments we got to talk about is Tulsi Gabbard, former Democrat congresswoman turned angry, hostile towards Dems when she got, pretty much wiped. She was wiped up or on the floor. Kamala Harris wiped her on the floor when she ran for president. So she takes her marbles and goes home and becomes a Republican. Now she's going to be director of national intelligence.
It's disgusting. It's disgusting that loyalty is the only measure for this man. That's all that matters to him. And she's the prime, her as well as Gates. They're like two of the prime examples of what type of, I don't even know what type of, ignorance and disrespect and just that's what I'm looking for, incompetence that's going to be running these departments. And there's so many people whose lives are going to depend on these individuals, to hire and firepower, to launch investigations, to do all of these things. And look, we got the World Cup and what else we got? One of the other big events, the Olympics, coming in 2026 and
right here in California.
Right. And we're going to trust Gabbard with intelligence. We're going to trust Kristi Noem with Homeland Security. Like, these people are incompetent at best, and I'm really scared. We've had all these issues going on, and I'm knocking on wood. One thing we haven't had is an Islamic terrorist attack of any sort, because we're killing each other from within. We're destroying each other from within. But with people dropping their guard like this right now, anything can happen. Remember, Areva, one of the reasons that 9/11 happened was because the memorandum of understanding wasn't signed between the Bush administration because of Bush v. Gore. So much stuff was caught up. They said a lot of the intelligence that could have been passed on to the Bush administration didn't happen during that time that could have helped prevent 9/11. Trump hasn't signed that as well. And now he's appointing people who have no interest in actually respecting the federal government as well. So there's a lot of dangerous things that could be happening during this time. And we unfortunately are not going to have the leadership to help deal with it because they don't care.
I really wish people would have thought of that beforehand so that they didn't have to go and Google how do I change my vote.com, because it doesn't exist. Your vote is irrevocable. There's no way to change it. We will get midterms in 2 years and we can reverse what happened in the House, which we know is important. But America, we have to stop saying, Dr. Domingo, that this isn't the America we know. This is exactly the America that we know, and for many, that the America that a lot of folks love. It's a full embrace of Donald Trump and all of his policies and all of his sycophants and all of the incompetent people that he has already identified and will continue to identify over the next couple of weeks as he goes into his administration. And we're already seeing a lot of folks kissing the ring, people who were full-on Kamala Harris supporters who now are trying to position themselves to make sure they are financially protected under a Donald Trump administration, self-interested, and moving to support Donald Trump. And we're going to pay a price. So America, buckle up. It's about to be a rough 4 years.